Hello, everybody. This is gonna be another podcast, and my name is Nick.
Mike.
Travis.
And CJ.
Yay.
And CJ is also going to be joining us for a very fun topic, and that's going to be on the topic of spin-off games. Our favorite spin-off games, our least favorite spin-off games, whether we think they should focus on the spin-off games or focus on the main series games, because I have some opinions about that, obviously. But to start things off, I guess our general just seeing where we stand on the issue is, what do you think of spin-off games? Do we think that they're a good addition and they give the series more depth, or do you think that they're kind of side adventures that really shouldn't have as much of a connection to the main games they're associated with? So, who wants to start?
I mean, I'll start because I think spin-off games are, like, absolutely incredible, because one of the best franchises ever is a spin-off game, and that's Super Mario Bros. That started as a spin-off of Donkey Kong. So, like, and Persona is another one that I love, and that's a spin-off of a series. So a lot of times I think spin-offs are really, really good. Most of the games we play are, like, really fun spin-off games. So, you know, I don't want to go too into detail now, but I think I want to start off by saying that. We love Mario Kart 8. That's a spin-off of a spin-off. So, you know, like, I feel like a lot of games kind of start out that way. You know, you have a game that people really enjoy, and then they do something with, like, certain characters in that game to sort of branch it out and do something more with it. So, I don't know. I love the idea of them.
If it is a spin-off of a spin-off, is it just an original then?
That's interesting.
The question of the day.
Here we go.
But no, Mike, I'm with you on that. I do like the fact that spin-off games are a thing, because one of my favorite spin-off games is the Mario Tennis Power Tour, and I absolutely loved every second that I played of it. So those kinds of games I feel like are very welcome, and I feel like really need a lot more. But it really depends on the series for me whether I fall in love with if I fall in love with those spin-off games, because I remember one of the games that I never got into was the Pokemon Mystery Dungeon ones, and I loved the main series Pokemon games, but I could never bring myself to play the Pokemon Mystery Dungeon ones. I was just like, this is a stupid spin-off series that they shouldn't be wasting their time with. And there's people out there who probably love the game series, but I just could never get into it, or never really wanted to play the games either. So I was really curious to see, like, in my mind, in that case, I think that is more taking away from their main series, because I would want more Pokemon games or more games like Pokemon Stadium, but they focus on an unnecessary spin-off that might have a big audience and might not. So I think that's where some of the issues get in. But before I go into more depth on that, Travis, CJ, what do you think of the overall idea of spin-off games?
I'll take the first gander at it. I enjoy them. It adds a lot more character and stuff. Especially if you're looking at Mario, it introduces characters that don't even exist otherwise, like my boy Waluigi, who deserves his own sort of spin-off thing, but we won't talk about that. But it definitely gets you get a little more connected with the characters, because they're doing things that are kind of more normal sometimes. It kind of depends on the spin-off. But, like, I love Mario Sports-ish games. I'll talk about that later when we address
Mario Sports games are a great example.
But I do enjoy it because it gives you more content to play, because if you don't like the spin-off, you just don't play it. It's kind of just like any other franchise where it's like you play what you want and you don't get what you don't want.
Right.
Yeah, no, I understand. What do you think, CJ?
I truly love spin-off games. I pretty much agree with everything Travis just said, that you kind of see characters in a different setting, but they're still the characters that you've fallen in love with and can just play different games with them. Like, you know, all the Mario games, Super Mario Strikers, for instance, is my favorite soccer game. Screw FIFA and all that stuff, but, you know, that's one of my favorite spin-off games ever.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I completely understand that. I was going to say, I do like what Travis said, and I don't know why I'm thinking of it like this, but I just want to paint this picture for you guys. The way that I'm thinking about it is, like, the main series game is like, what's the way to say? I guess, like, a good way to say it is, say, Donkey Kong is the main series game, but a really big branch that goes off it, it's like a tree. Like, the trunk is Donkey Kong, but, like, it goes off, and then you have, like, the Mario and the Mario Kart and everything. I don't know. It was just a picture that I wanted to share.
Mm-hmm. I'd like to see it.
It would be a cool picture.
Uh-huh.
I'm probably not going to draw it. Anyway, but no, so yeah, I guess the issue for me just becomes, I guess if I want to link this back to my tree idea, it kind of what happens is if you have a branch that goes off and you're just not following that branch, because there's also some branches that look like really nice branches to climb on, but then there's that one weak twig branch that you don't want to climb on. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying?
There's a lot of tree branches I can't climb on.
That's what I was going to say. I mean, I think the issue becomes when you have too many spin. I think if you're thinking about the issues that come with it, because yeah, a lot of our games that we've loved playing have come from the fact that we've had a main series characters that we've fallen in love with, and then they've done other things like Mario Tennis, Mario Golf, and Mario Strikers as well. But the issue is that if they focus too much on that and everybody's waiting for, well, where's the main series game? And I think that's the issue that spin-off games can run into, is the fact that if there's no actual like core content that still comes with it. Because if that main branch, if the branch that goes off of it tries to become its own main branch, and people are still wondering like, well, what happened to the trunk? What happened to its core identity? I guess that's where the issues can come in there. What do you think?
Well, I just think one of the things, Nick, is like, I don't think that's usually how it works. Most companies are smart enough to like Mario Kart is not made by the same team as Super Mario Bros. So usually it doesn't do anything to the main series. Like whether or not they make a new Mario Kart game is not going to affect when the next like mainstream Mario game comes out. Same with Pokemon. Like I don't know for sure, but I can probably assume that the Pokemon Mystery Dungeon game was developed by a separate team from the main Pokemon games. So I don't think the Mystery Dungeon games influence like the release schedule for the main Pokemon series at all.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I know what you mean. I'm saying that I don't think that that's the at least in my mind, I don't think that that's really the at least from a consumer standpoint. I think the issue is when you see more of those games happen instead of the other ones. Because yes, I'm with you that there's different teams that work on each game, and I mean it wouldn't make sense for at least in my mind for like other developer or like some other game I guess developer teams to be working on like say or they might be brought back and forth between projects, but a core of them will stay developing the same kind of game. Like the same people in Intelligent Systems that are making the Fire Emblem games are going to continue making those Fire Emblem games. But the people who are in Intelligent Systems that maybe worked on Advance Wars are still working on Advance Wars because those are the games that they got used to and they've understand and they have a more deeper insight about. But if you see more and more of those, but say you look at the games that they're cranking out, and you see multiple titles of Pokemon Mystery Dungeon compared to the actual like say Pokemon Red, Blue, or Yellow, and I don't know. I think I was looking at it recently. They almost are equal, or if not more, because there's only seven generations of Pokemon, but there's only I gotta look up the number. I'll look it up in a little bit, but there's a lot of Pokemon Mystery Dungeon games that are going there, but a lot of people who joined the series joined for those main games. So it's not the same teams, and they probably don't influence the schedule as much, but it's still, what it looks like to people is that they're cranking out more of these games to try to like, instead of focusing on the core ones as well. I know that the core ones require more work, and that's probably why they take more time, but I'm just looking at the amount of, like, just the number of games in general is what people usually see. I think the issue comes into the amount of work that the core games actually need compared to the spin-off games, because the spin-off games don't need as much work. They don't need to have as much development time and whatnot to be able to bring out a really good polished product. And those are the games, the ones that are coming from the core, need to have a really big amount of polish. If you see a Mario Strikers game that can kind of be broken by super shots, we're not going to go crazy saying, oh, this is a busted mechanic, because it's not part of the main game. And I mean, you're not expecting that amount of polish. You're just expecting a fun game at that point. But if you have an amazing game, say for example, what's a good one? Like say Persona, and you get from Persona 5 and Persona 6, and Persona 5 had a ton of polish and Persona 6 didn't have as much, it's extremely noticeable. From Mario Strikers to the next Mario Strikers Charge, I think for the Wii, I couldn't really tell as much of a difference because I don't really think it needed as much polish at that point.
Yeah, that's definitely a good point, because some spin-offs are like hardly even seen as spin-offs, such as like the Super Mario Bros. In general. Like we have a high standard for that, but like you were saying, things like Super Strikers or like Mario Tennis, Mario Golf, we don't have those same standards because you're like, oh, that's just a generic like general game. But I'm pretty sure if they like half-assed Mario Kart, people would retaliate because it's huge. So definitely,
it's almost become its original game, even though yes, technically it is a spin-off game. It's almost its original game at this point.
How many Super Mario Karts are there now? 8, 9?
We're on Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, which is like a
there's
super version of 8.
Yeah, so I mean that is more games than some main series.
Yep. Exactly. But I mean, yeah, I think you demand more from the main series games, if anything. So we can just enjoy spin-off games because I guess we kind of go into them blind in a way, so it's a new experience. But in the main series games, we know what to expect. Like if we go into Pokemon and we don't have the ability to get a Charizard, there's people who are going to be able to get rage, and there's going to be people being extremely angry. And I know if Travis doesn't get his Charizard in his Pokemon game, he will be mad, and a table will be thrown. So I think that's kind of the issue there.
If there's other cool dragons and/or fire type, I'm okay.
That's true. But I'm saying I feel like there's more of an expectation that comes with the main series game, and I think that's why spin-off games at least are able to get away with more, if anything. And I think that's a good thing, because if you're able to do more and try more things and innovate, there's people that are going to be attached to some of those things that you try and you love. And even though I'm not one for a Pokemon Mystery Dungeon game, there's people who probably love them and adore them, and they like them more than the main series Pokemon game. But it really depends on those kinds of people and what your interests are and what kind of games you like to play. It's such a subjective question, because some people love every idea that people come up with, and there's some people who don't.
Yeah, because spin-offs are definitely a good way to like test the waters. Like, imagine if in the main series of Pokemon you had to do it like Hey You Pikachu, where you had to talk to your Pokemon to make them gain affection for you, and it would have been trash. That would be awful.
Yeah.
That would be really, really bad. Also, I want to go back to a point that Travis made. I do like the fact that you get to see, most of the time you get to see more character development from other characters that you don't usually see in the mainstream. So I do like that as well.
Luigi needs something. Just have him be with
Yes,
WarioWare. I don't care. I just want him in something.
I'm surprised they haven't done that. Like, made him like Wario's sidekick in those games.
Yeah.
I mean,
I feel like that's so
Yoshi got
easy.
his own spin-off.
Yeah.
And they also had the Wario Land games, like for GameCube and whatnot, so Wario's had his spin-offs.
Mm-hmm.
Just Waluigi
It's really
gets no
weird.
love.
I guess.
He's creepy.
Nope.
I mean,
I'm honestly thinking there's gonna be something that shows up with them in it, but I really don't know at this point. But at least at that point, I mean, with spin-off games, that's kind of another thing how I think Nintendo also tests their new characters too, because Waluigi got started as an idea for
Mario
kind
Tennis
of like an
character.
opposite of Luigi. Yeah, he got started in Mario Tennis for the N64. So it's cool to see them testing it, but then again, there's also times when you try it and things don't really stick, because you had like Donkey Kong Jr. that kind of, I think, Mike, correct me if I'm wrong, originated from like the NES game, right?
Yeah.
Donkey Kong Jr. Okay, so you had Donkey Kong Jr. that was also there, but I haven't seen him since Mario Tennis as well. So I feel like there's some side characters that kind of go like forgotten about from there as well. And now you see in Mario Tennis Aces they actually have Chain Chomp as a playable character. I'm extremely curious to see how that goes.
Yeah, for sure.
All right, anyway, but yeah, so that's what I kind of think about that, because it is a good way to test the waters, and if something's not working, you can gauge the reactions from people saying, oh, if they took away Donkey Kong Jr. and there's an outrage for it, you can still bring him back in the next Mario Tennis game if it happens. But I do like a way that is to test the waters and give more depth to characters that people probably want to learn more about, and really you don't see it happen as much, because Mario was just Mario, Bowser, Peach, and Toad.
Right.
Now you have, you can't even count how many Mario characters that got introduced, and there's even more that got introduced in Mario Odyssey. Like, it's crazy the amount that you can do with that. But yeah.
Well, and the other cool thing about spin-offs that I like that we haven't really touched on is like it allows you to like expand to other systems. Like I look at Kingdom Hearts, franchise that I love. You can't put a mainstream Kingdom Hearts game on the DS because it's not as full scale. But you can put a spin-off game like Dream Drop Distance was, or like Coded, or things like that. So like people on those systems can play it as well. I know God of War did that with the PSP, so did Final Fantasy VII. So that's another good thing for it too, is like you can put your spin-off games on these smaller consoles. So it's not like a part of the main series, but it's something that like, it's sort of a smaller gift that you can give to like these lesser consoles too.
Yeah.
Because if we didn't have spin-offs, Kingdom Hearts never would have been on a handheld console. So when I look at that, I'm like, well, that's another good thing about it too, is you can branch out more and sort of expose new people to your series.
So no, I'm with you with Kingdom Hearts, and yeah, I think that's one of the people. Some people complain about that too, about saying that you miss a lot of story if you miss like one Kingdom Hearts installment, and you have to play the handheld games for it to happen. But I think Kingdom Hearts kind of corrected that with the 1.5, 2.5 remix. So it was still like all on a console, so you can still follow it from console to console if need be.
Yeah.
Especially story wise, because the story kind of Kingdom Hearts you can kind of get lost in pretty easily.
Right.
So yeah, it is a nice addition for sure. I think that just the hard thing is that companies have to be very cautious, obviously, when they do spin-off games, because if a spin-off game falls flat, that's just wasted time and effort, and you're not really getting anything back from it, too.
For sure.
So, yeah. Travis, TJ, any thoughts so far?
There is definitely like the gray area of if they are releasing too many spin-offs without any sort of even like an announcement of an original coming back again, people think that they're just diluting the water and it just kind of loses its lust. But I mean, like, because with Mario Tennis coming out this summer for the Switch, everyone's looking forward to it. I know I would definitely love to see a new Super Strikers be on the way for the Switch. That'd be cool, because it kind of skipped the Wii U era. But,
Yeah.
like, I don't mind if original series takes a huge long break if they come out with masterpieces like I think Odyssey was.
Right.
Odyssey was a masterpiece. I love that game.
So if they take their time and make like a 10 out of 10, 9 out of 10 game every time, like Zelda didn't even do anything during the Wii U, but Breath of the Wild was widely accepted as an amazing game. So, and it's not like Zelda has any sort of spin-off games.
Link's crossbow training.
Well, I was going to mention with Zelda, the cool thing Zelda did is they said we're going to focus on Breath of the Wild, so they let another company take over for Hyrule Warriors, which is not really a full-scale Zelda game, and they didn't really put any effort into it. That was handled by another company, and they said, here, we're giving you the Zelda characters. You can play this fun game. If you don't want to play it, you don't have to. It's not even like a mainstream Nintendo game, but it's something there to hold you off while we're developing Breath of the Wild. So they weren't like rushing out games like Assassin's Creed and Call of Duty do. They said, we're going to take our time, and we're going to give you a little spin-off game for you to enjoy in the meantime. And I think that's like the perfect way to do it.
Yeah, because it gives you something to play if you're still having that really big need to want to play one of the games with those characters, but it's not going over the top saying this is going to influence our main story of it. It's just go ahead and play it, have some fun. But there's like, I mean, something like Strikers is pure gameplay.
Exactly.
It's nothing that like there's no big story. You win a tournament or whatnot, then you have unlock some robots that are kicking ass at soccer or something like that.
I mean, only some of us win the tournaments for Super Strikers.
That's true.
Damn.
Travis, nice job. Anyway, but yeah, that's one of the things about it. It's just like a pure gameplay thing. It doesn't really influence the main series as much, and that's I think one of its biggest strengths.
Yeah.
So yeah, I was going to say one thing about Zelda too, is that I feel like Zelda didn't even need a spin-off game until that point though, until the Wii U era, and I think they played it off really smartly with Hyrule Warriors. Even though I didn't get the game, I felt like I would just wait for Breath of the Wild, but they knew the Wii U didn't sell well, and so it's just like we're not going to push our newest game that we've been working a long time on to underpowered hardware, so we're just going to move it to the Switch, and it was a great idea. It sold extremely well, and it runs very well on the Switch.
Yep.
So yeah, I think Zelda did it very well too, and just gave Hyrule Warriors as that little bit of a couple year break that they needed for them to push their new hardware, and then they still came out with the Wii U version if you got the Wii U too. So I think that was really smart on them.
Oh yeah, they handled that game like perfectly.
Oh yeah. But how about this? Besides Mario Strikers, what are your guys' other kind of favorite spin-off games?
Let's see. Mine would definitely be Super Strikers or like WarioWare, because WarioWare is just such a different type of game that
I love WarioWare.
I know, it's so freaking fun.
Original GameCube?
I was thinking the Wii one.
Original GameCube one is bae.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I haven't played the original GameCube one, but the Wii one is still a lot of fun because you do so much stupid
WarioWare
shit with the controller. That
I'm pretty sure WarioWare's original was on the Game Boy though.
Really?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was WarioWare, because I know for sure that they had a Game Boy Advance one called WarioWare Twisted, because I mentioned that in one of the first podcasts that we did.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm pretty sure they had it's either Game Boy Advance. I'm pretty sure was the first one. We're gonna do a little bit of research right now.
Thanks, Mike, for doing the research.
Well, am I doing it or is
No,
Nick?
we're not gonna do that. I'm gonna be nice for once.
Nick, thank you for doing the resesk. I know it
You're
was
welcome. You're welcome. There's WarioWare micro games franchise. Blah, 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 blah. Yeah, WarioWare. That's Mega Party Games. That's in Japan. You can edit some of this out, Mike.
That one doesn't count.
Well, Nick, you're not really saving me
WarioWare
anything
micro
if
games.
I'm still editing for you.
That's true. Game Boy Advance 2003. I didn't even know there was one for the GameCube. Let's find out what it was. GameCube. GameCube had WarioWare Mega Party Games, and that one was also 2003. I don't know which one was original. All right,
Wow.
well, yeah.
Did all that for
It's
nothing.
a tie.
It's a tie. They're both in 2003.
Well, I guess one of my favorite spin-offs was the game we just finished, was Super Mario and Rabbids, the battle strategy game.
Oh yeah.
That's a good one.
Loved it.
I mean, it was a spin-off of 2 games that kind of combined together. I mean, it was beautiful. It was a gorgeous game.
Well, that's another example too of Nintendo doing something great, where they say like, let's hand our like big franchise to like another company that's really good at strategy games and let them sort of take control, and you end up getting like this amazing strategy game with Mario characters. And I think that's such a cool way to do it.
I would have never seen it coming.
Yeah. I mean, I still had love for my favorite characters from like Super Mario 10 years ago. My boy Luigi still came in clutch in Mario Rabbids.
Yes, he did.
And we had a great time talking about the best Nintendo girl, and Rabbid Peach had a decent amount of votes, Mike.
She did. That's true.
Rabbid Peach
She didn't win. Everyone who voted
She
for
didn't
Peach
win.
is wrong. Rabbid Peach is the best princess.
Aw.
Yeah, no, I will say also you also have Grant Kirkhope to thank for the amazing soundtrack for Mario and Rabbids as well. So, dang Rare developers.
Yeah.
If only they did good on Yuka. Who would have? If only.
Yeah, that's kind of a sad one. Let's not talk about that because that makes me sad.
Oh yeah, Yuka is maybe an example of one where it doesn't work out as well, or maybe some of the ideas that they had kind of got lost in translation, or they kind of forgot how to develop or design some of the parts in ukulele. So.
Right. I'll say mine though. One of my favorite spin-offs is called Typing of the Dead. I don't know if any of you guys have heard or played that game,
I don't
but
even
it's
know
basically
what it's
it's. Have you ever seen the House of the Dead like arcade games?
Yes. The
Yeah,
ones that
it's
are,
like
in
that.
GameWorks and stuff.
Yeah, but instead of shooting, you just like type words. But the like phrases you type in are hilarious. Like there's like a mature mode, and the words will all be like super sexual things, but they're all like really funny. You know, like I can't think of any. You'll see it on the screen obviously when this is edited, but it's super hilarious. The story and it's so like over the top as far as like the characters and stuff. So it's basically just like making fun of like the House of the Dead, like poking fun at itself.
I like
But it's super cool, and it's actually a lot of fun. You know, if you're a good typer, it's really fun to play because it actually plays pretty smoothly. So you know, that's one I really like too.
Okay. And then, Mike, I think another spin-off you like is Persona 5.
Yeah, you know, I like that one just a little bit.
Just a little bit. I've never heard him talk about it before, so I don't think he's that dedicated about it.
Yeah, that one, you know, and that one has a whole series based on it too. And then that series has its own spin-offs with like the Persona Dancing All Night stuff. And then it has its own like
multiple trees get multiple branches.
Yep, it has its own fighting franchise too that people really like. So that's super awesome too. So Persona's like, it's like Mario where like you make a spin-off and then that spin-off gets so successful that you make spin-offs of that.
Spin-off, yep.
Yeah, and it just kind of goes on forever.
Mario can get away with basically anything at this point. Mario can basically be jumped into like a Call of Duty shooter type game, and I'm sure it'll still sell well.
Pretty
And
much.
Now I can picture him with a gun after Rabbids, so...
That's true.
Mario and
Just
Rabbids was a
imagine
spin-off
he's
game
just, like,
testing the idea of
slinging
Mario with a
Koopas
gun.
and Goombas
God.
everywhere. Be freaking
Sadly,
awesome.
I could. I really could imagine
The
that.
only thing Odyssey was missing was just a first-person shooter mode, which kind of was interpreted into the tanks, but...
That's funny.
Well, either way, yeah. No, I was gonna say one of my favorite, obviously one of my favorite spin-off games too was a Pokemon Puzzle League, just because Tetris Attack, you know, fun as hell. I'm pretty sure it's Tetris Attack, but yeah, no, that game has been redone a ton of times. But my favorite reskin of that game is definitely Pokemon League. Yep. So freaking fun. But anyway. I know, right, Travis? It's almost like it was one of my top 5 games.
At least you
anyway.
didn't say
Still
Diddy Kong
call
Racing.
BS on that with fun.
What? I still beat it regularly. Sorry, what, Mike?
I said at least you didn't say Diddy Kong Racing for your favorite spin-off.
At least.
It's up there, though. It's not my
know.
favorites. Anyway, yeah. Well, that's almost like its own. Never mind. Not the point. Anyway, we're gonna leave it at that. Comment section below. Use it or lose it. Say what your favorite spin-off game is. Do you think you like spin-off games or not? The topics as well. If you have any ideas for us, you can put them in the comments. And like always, I like puppies.
Yeah, you do.
Puppies too, and my puppy's the cutest.
Aw.
We all think
Travis
our
does have a
puppies
cute
are
puppy.
the cutest, and we're all correct.
All right. Any other things to say?
We'll put
Nope.
pictures of mine and CJ's puppy at the end here. You guys vote which is the cuter one.
Oh God, here we go.
Puppy, it's
You
unfair.
can post your puppy pictures of your puppy. Whatever. Even though he's 6 months old now.
Get a room, you two. All right.
We do have one upstairs.
All right. Bye.